And I have to
Gotta
log
get
in
glasses
over
on.
here somewhere.
Leave message, got it. Okay.
Come on, internet.
So how come I have a very big fat picture and these guys got nice little pictures?
Because your
Well,
camera's
I
down. You got to put your
changed.
camera up. Turn around, put it on the ledge behind you, behind the bed, and put it up so it's looking down at you.
No, it wasn't that. It's just my whole thing is like about 3 inches and theirs is like an inch. Why are they? I'm not good at this stuff.
Either am I. This is all learning for me.
The holes.
All right.
I just took my hair out of my clip. I look goofy, but that's all right.
All right.
I got caught in the rain today, so I look really good.
It's gonna get yucky here in Florida.
Yeah,
Up
there's
to
a storm
Florida.
coming through.
Mhm. High winds, tropical storm. Yeah.
All right. Okay, everybody. Hello, hello. Let's talk Icewave. So we're going to get right into it. Icewave is our dual patch system. Dual patch system, meaning that it has 2 patches. One is positive and the other is negative. And they work synergistically together to move the energy in your body to relieve pain. Okay. So let's start with the sheet that we have. We're going to share this screen over here. One of these over here. That one. Okay. Did that share the right screen? Do you see the Icewave?
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, now it's
Well, I
gone.
did a minute ago.
Okay, hold on. Where'd it go? Icewave.
Mhm. No,
This
that's
one.
it.
You see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Is it tan the positive or the white?
The
White.
white's positive, the tan's negative. Did you get white positive, tan negative? So
Yeah. Okay.
when you're patching with Icewave, the most success that you have usually is when you pair it with an Eon. Okay. And after I give you this brief explanation, I'll kind of go through what Roy Surjono has suggested previously, who is a man who's patched over 70,000 people. So it's recommended to pair Icewave with Eon. And the reason being that Eon is a fantastic anti-inflammation patch. So you've got your Eon that you want to first take and put on the C7 on the back. And then you take weight. Let them check in with themselves. Make sure you hydrate. Make sure that you are aware of what your pain's doing. And after a few minutes of the Eon being on, just the Eon, you say, if where we were was a 10, where are you now in terms of pain? Give me a 1 to 10. So you go from there and you work through. So next we say, okay, so we're going to start, where exactly is the pain? If they can pinpoint it, you take that tan patch and you put it right where it hurts. And then you take the white patch, and we're going to start with what's called the clock method. So where your tan patch is the center of your clock. And you're going to take the white patch and you're going to put it at noon. About 3 inches above-ish, okay? And then you're going to say again, make sure they're drinking water, check in with them in a minute or so and say, okay, if where you were was a 10, where are you now? And let's see if we can get them down to a 3, a 2, or a 1 by doing this. So we start at noon and they say, oh, it's only about a 7 now. So then you take that and you move that to 3. And then they say, you're 3. And then they say, okay, then we'll go to, check in again. Then we go to 6. Then we go to 9, and you keep checking in with them every time to find the best location. It does take a little finesse to get that point, but when you get that point, it is almost instant that pain is relieved. So there is flexibility in it. It is not black and white there are only, noon, 3, 6, and 9. It could be anywhere. You could start with one patch, the tan patch, and you could end up down, 12 inches at 7:30. And that's where you find the relief. So it really has to do with the individual person and how the energy is working through their body. So for me right now, I have X39 on my neck. Yes, X39 on my neck. And I was over at my in-laws for dinner and I felt this like twinge of pain, like right in my buttocks. And I was like, oh man, it felt like a pinched nerve of some kind. And it started in my back and it kind of started to go down my right leg. And I'm like, great, here we go. So I took out my LifeWave. I went into the other room and I quick stuck the tan one right in the cheek. And I stuck the other one right above it. And I walked around the kitchen a little bit and that wasn't the right spot. So I walked back out to the room, moved it as best as I could over to the 3. So I think I ended it up actually with it more like halfway down my thigh at the 6 o'clock. But because of that, I don't have that pain in my hip anymore, my buttocks, my sciatic area. So that was relieved. I don't use LifeWave often because I'm typically not in pain because I have the X39 and the 49 on every day. So I really haven't needed it a whole lot, which has been great, but I did do extra gardening today. And I do have to tell you guys how amazing it was to garden today because I did squats. I didn't know that I was doing it. I just bent my knees down, sat down on the balls of my feet, butt almost on the ground, pulling out my weeds, and I'd stand up and I'd take them to the trash can. I was out there for over an hour before I realized what I was doing. I didn't have my garden bench with me, that bench that turns upside down so that you can kneel on the pad so you can use the arms to get up. That's my garden crutch. That's what I've always used. And I didn't have it out there with me. I don't even know where it is in the garage, honestly, because it's been a while since I've gardened too. So I'm out there doing squats. I'm squatting all the way to the ground and I'm getting back up by myself without problems. It's amazing. So I haven't needed LifeWave. I might tomorrow because of all the squats I did today. So that was just I had to tell you guys about that. The garden squats was amazing. Any questions about the clock protocol before we go to the next steps from LifeWave patching? Any questions?
No, but thank you for sharing. I do remember you saying the clock method, and it didn't necessarily have to be exactly like 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock could be the 4 and the 5. But what I just learned is it doesn't have to be 3 inches. So
No.
you can go
So as far as you need. Yep,
So
you can go as far away as you need. You can even take LifeWave. If you've got full body, you can take LifeWave and put them on K1, which is right under the bottom of your feet, the balls of your feet, 1/3 down. And then there's 2/3. So it's right under the ball. The K1, if you want to do full body. So you would put white right. You should just put that in your brain, white right, tan left. So if you're going to do them in the same spots across from each other, whether you do them inner elbow or you do them knees, or there's a really great point right here on the chest where you can do them as well. For full body, you want to pair them white right, tan left. So those are you can either do same sides or you can do a clock method.
Is feet the best spot if you're going to do full body?
I would say yes with Eon, paired with an Eon or an X39, to get that energy going back up and through, to the top and back down. I did learn from Karen Can that when you're working with someone that, say you get to 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, which from your video or whatever, but you get to one spot and they say, oh, that's worse. That what you want to do at that point is to take them and switch them. Because what you've done is you've blocked that energy further, which has caused them more pain. So if you switch the positive and the negative, you're going to get that energy to flow through. So did that make sense to everybody? So if you get
Can you just use the X39 or not? You have to use else.
No, you can just use the X39.
All right.
The majority, X39 is a fantastic umbrella patch. And the reason I say that is because it addresses so much, including creation of copper peptides that are the universal regulator, which creates stem cells. And stem cells can be any cell in the body. So your body is going to tell those new stem cells where to go. They're going to say, I need you here, I need you there. So it could very likely go to where you are experiencing the pain very quickly. And at that point, it's going to be healing you on a cellular level, on a DNA level. It's going to repair.
All right.
So which is a step up from Eon, because Eon is going to reduce inflammation, but it's not really going to go in and repair on a cellular level because it's not creating those same copper peptides that the X39 does. So
How about the glutathione?
Glutathione is the master antioxidant. That one is good for detox. That one's good for building your immune system. Those are the tops for it. But oftentimes when glutathione is paired with one of its other YH systems, like a carnosine or a Eon, that there are fantastic effects that happen in the body when paired with those other patches. And it's all very, very specific for symptoms. So what we want to address are symptoms in the body to alleviate those symptoms. So we do have a beautiful sheet that we got from Karen Can as well, which is a sheet that kind of gives you a rundown of a quick reference of what you're trying to, what you're trying to support and the patch that would go with that. And this is all in that patching biz group for everybody. You guys this is all in there. So this is fantastic to have to reference. Now, the green are the claims that Lifewave makes based on the studies that they've done. Now, the yellow ones are anecdotal. They're the ones that people have experienced or there have been common reports of. So take that for what it's worth. I mean, I think the studies, I think the anecdotal experiences carry just the same weight as studies, especially if it comes from someone that you know. And someone that you're like, wait a minute, look at you. What have you been doing? How are you walking again? How are you standing up straight? How can you reach your arm over your head? When you see people on a daily basis and you see them in so much pain and then you see their pain gone, you want to know how they did it. I mean, it's amazing. So this is a great reference. And Nikki, we can talk more about that after, and we can do another Zoom so we can really get specific with symptoms. And then, Roy Surjono is a gentleman that has been with Lifewave from the beginning. And so he has his steps that he uses. And this also is in the patch biz group for everybody that is in there. If you don't know where it is, let me know and I'll tag you in it so you can see it. But so the very first thing that he does with anybody that comes across his path, this man patches everybody from airports to grocery stores to wherever. If he sees somebody hobbling, he walks over and he puts a patch on them. I mean, that's kind of how you have to patch 70,000 people, I think. But he has. So, so the GV14, same as the C7, that is right on the back of your neck. So the best way to find that is to just bend your neck down. And then you find the highest point on your neck, that's your C7, and that's where you want to put the patch. Okay, so the GV14 that they call here is just a smidge below that. It's between the two vertebrae, and the GV14 is the governing vessel 14. It's an acupoint where 6 different meridians pass through. So it's a very powerful point. It's a great starting point because you're going to be affecting so much with one patch and one location. So this is what he does right from the get-go. If he sees someone in pain or has someone in pain, he immediately puts a 14 on them after they drink water. If you don't drink water when you're patching, it will be painful. It can be painful. You can have symptoms of detox. You can have symptoms of nausea, vomiting, headaches. It will hurt you versus help you if you don't drink water. I can't tell you that enough. And if you do experience any pain, take the patches off, drink 16 ounces of water at a minimum, then put the patches back on. So this was his explanation of the clock method used on this person's chest. You guys are still seeing the same screen, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. So he says by now, having the Eon on the back of the neck and having used this clock method, that you should be at about an 85% success rate for people who don't have any major medical conditions. So then he kicks it up a notch and says, all right, so if you've got your points and we've got them to a certain amount, certain point, that you can take your X39 and put it on top of that brown ice wave, right? So this person's now got Eon, a tan ice wave, a white ice wave, and then an X39 on top. So he's saying, again, it should be have a 85% success rate here at step 2B. He goes on to talk about addressing some specific symptoms, I guess, diagnoses that people have and different protocols that he recommends for that.
I've never seen anything with cholesterol before. That's the first time I've ever seen anything with a
We'll come back around to that. We're gonna talk
patching
about
on that one. Huh.
Again, Mom, this is kind of why I was like, you should get on Facebook just so that you can access this group where I put everything in it, because then you can see it. Energy enhancers can also be used for pain, which is one of the things that he does here. With those first three, I really think they're the most potent. They're the most successful. So I have used, what?
Can you go back one screen? I just have a question here.
Yep.
So when you get to this step 3, they still have the Eon on the back.
Yes.
Is what I'm kind of seeing here.
Yes.
But if they have more than one medical situation, diabetes and cholesterol, diabetes and high blood pressure,
yes.
Instead of putting the patches in that clock method, it's best to do it here.
I don't think so. I don't think that's what he's saying here.
So that's what I'm trying to understand here is like, okay, if you have somebody who has these conditions or have two, don't go to the actual pain spot, go to these methods.
I think that's what he said. I think that's what he's saying here.
Okay.
But the thing is that we're not doctors, we're going for pain. So
right.
I think that the safest bet for us is to go Eon, X39, or I'm sorry, Eon and Ice Wave. Okay. Especially to start, because these are more advanced patching protocols. And I think that not only should the person that you're working with, one, you should know if they can tolerate the patch or not. If they can tolerate that X39, an Eon and Ice Wave, one or more patches, like you need to start somewhere, because we learned from Megan, who is very sensitive and wore that X39 her first 12 hours and didn't sleep her first 2 nights. So we've been introducing Megan to X39 for over a week or so now, and we're building up time on it because she is so sensitive that it really, you wore it today, right? You said?
No, I wore it yesterday. So it's almost like I need to go like even now, like in every other day. And I think I'm up to 10 hours or 11 hours, not 12 yet.
I'm really sensitive, so it'll be interesting to see if I get these patches, what my body's going to do.
So out of the gate, I'm going to say for you 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah, I'm going to say to start it early at like 7 in the morning. So you can get that off by 1. What?
Yeah,
So Megan's gonna work with you on that. We'll definitely work with you on that, because if you are sensitive, I don't want you to start patching all over the place. And Karen Ken has a video that she speaks to that like people are wearing all these patches and like nothing's happening. They end up maybe with headaches and nausea and all these other things because they might not have had enough water for all those patches that they have on. So
how much water do they say you should drink a day with these patches?
Well, how much water you should just drink a day anyway is half your body weight in fluid ounces. That's what's recommended. As my mom smirks. My mom's like,
and you'll spend all day on the toilet.
That's fine. When you go to the bathroom, your urine should be almost clear.
Yeah.
Almost clear. I drink probably 4 of these a day. I try. I'd like more than 4, but I try to drink a whole lot a day.
And then for the first week, you're up all night long going to the bathroom. So you definitely can't sleep.
But I'm telling you, it doesn't stay like that because I
Nope, it
sleep
doesn't.
through the night. I
Nope.
sleep through the night. In fact, this is the first night I've slept through the night since Oliver's 7. I was pregnant for 9 months with him. So we're going almost 8 years.
8 years.
I have a question.
All right.
Yes.
What these thyroid issues is on Synthroid. They said, can they do these patches on Synthroid?
I don't see why not,
Yes.
because there's nothing transdermal about these patches. There are no drugs in the patches. What the patches do is when you put them on, they signal your body to create whatever peptide or create whatever response that the patch wants from your body. So there are no drugs. So this does not interact with any medication at all. But if you're saying Synthroid, then I want to talk to you later on about a thyroid thing, because I have a protocol that I did from Dr. Karen Can. I actually wore it the other night. I had 2 patches, a patch here, and a patch here. And I had a triangle patch protocol here. And it was, I got to tell you, it was amazing because everybody's gotten tingles. My mom got tingles. I put a patch on her and she's like, ooh, that feels cool. Everybody, no, I never got tingles. I never experienced anything. So I put these on and I'm about to get on a Zoom and watch one and I feel swirling. It was bizarre. It was wild. And I'm like, oh God, I got a little nervous. I'm like, should I take them off? I'm like, this is crazy. And then I felt pressure, not pain, but I felt pressure, and then it all subsided within an hour. I was like, this is amazing. So unfortunately, I don't have a before of my neck. I mean, I'm sure I have a before of my neck, but really kind of close in on everything to see if there was anything that might have gone down. Now, any nodes that I might have, you're not going to see. They're so small. You could probably see them on the scan if I have to go do that again at some point. But I do want to talk to you about that protocol at some point.
Kate, when you have them on the Eon and the Icewave,
Yes.
and we have them almost to no pain, how long do we recommend them to keep those patches on? Still the 12 hours or for a few hours and then put them on the same?
I would say at least 12 hours.
Okay.
Especially if they were in pain, they don't want to jump back to being in pain again.
Okay.
So I would say at least 12 hours.
Okay.
I think if it's an Eon and Icewave, you could, for an adult, that you could do an hour. Oh, you could do 24 hours.
Okay.
But then you need to discard of them after
Right.
24 hours. They are no longer working.
If somebody wears a patch for 6 hours, they can then reuse it the next day for another 6 hours.
As long as you take it and put it on something, I think you should be okay. The only one I can attest to trying like that is Silent Night, because who gets to sleep for 12 hours, right? I wish. So typically it's anywhere between 6 and 8. So I will take it off after that time and I've learned, I now put it on the top of I have a container next to my bedstand. It's like petroleum jelly, but not, I don't know. It's called not petroleum jelly. And you put it on the top of that because it sticks to it nicely. And then I can pull it off and use it the next night. I find doing that 2 nights is fine, but the 3rd night, it's not working anymore.
Do the pads come on a plastic sleeve, they could take alcohol or something and put it back on the sleeve?
No.
No. I mean, I was trying to, oh, there's my patches. Hold on, let me grab them.
They're like little circles. They look
Yeah, let me
like
show
a
you.
Band-Aid. You know those circle Band-Aids?
Yeah, and it's a paper backing that's there.
Here, I'll just get the Alavita out because I got to do that anyway.
They're that little?
Yep.
Oh yeah, they're little.
Yeah,
quarter.
they're real small. So this is my X39.
What does it come on before you put it on?
I'll just show you that, ma'am. We have, it has this
A paper backing.
a paper backing that you can split and only use half. Okay, and I'm glad you've actually said that, because the ice wave, as you're moving them around, you don't want to use the entire stick, right? As you're moving the white one around, you don't
Right.
want to use that entire stick. So there's two things that you can do. You can get a piece of regular tape and put it on the paper as you're moving around testing spots with the ice wave,
Okay,
or you can just peel one side of it and move it around as you need to. And then once you find that clock that the time that's correct for your body, you can take the other side off and secure it into place.
okay.
So getting it to stick back to these, because they're almost like a wax paper, I cannot get them to stick back on.
So if
Like-
I have a heavier sheet, like electrodes from stim units, they're more of a plastic
That would
Kind
be perfect.
to put them on if you wanted to reuse them.
I think that would be perfect.
Okay,
Just make sure that they're not in the light. Like you want, put them in your dresser, in your nightstand, or wherever you're going to put them. Just make sure they're not in the light, so
okay,
that are going to get heat or light to be activated.
Or near any electronics, I would say too.
Yeah, I would say that too. So there's my X39 that I'm now going to take and put on Mr. Marshall. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You can pet your animals afterward. So that's my second 12 hours. I'll put that on him as long as he'll stand it. And then I find them all the way around the house, wherever they are, because they eventually come off. So that's the patch. That's the small paper backing, one on each side patch. Back to the pain real quick. There are some specific protocols for spots that you're working on based on pain or surgery or healing that need a little extra attention. So one of these right now that you're seeing is the Circle the Dragon. So the ice wave brown goes in the middle, and then you put 4 glutathione around those. Now for me, someone that's wearing this, one needs to drink a lot of water, and I would highly recommend that you do a glutathione a couple times before this. You throw 4 glutathione on you without having patched previously, you're going to have some major detox, because it's a master antioxidant. It's going to clean your body out, right, of toxins. So this makes me nervous just knowing what I know about the patches. So this would be like an extreme case of pain, that because detox isn't fun either, right? So these are all accessible to you guys to have and use for years, but this does get you at about 98% success rate. So this is the other one, the Eagle Claw, that goes in a certain pattern around that point of pain. And he goes into all of these, when to use them, how often to use them, how much water to drink. The flower, this is the one that I used for Josh, or similar to, where we put the brown X39 on, or I'm sorry, the brown ice wave, we put the X39 on top, and then I paired it with, my flower petals were glutathione, so I had one on top and one on bottom, and then I turn and I have Eon on each, and then I had carnosine on each. So it was kind of similar to this one, but not this exact protocol. And I used that on Josh coming out of surgery just last month. Oh gosh, it was probably 2 months ago now. And in terms of his healing progress, he was almost healed when they took the bandages off, because in his scar area, because they had a whole week of some little suction thing that went, a vacuum, incisional vacuum, I think they called it. So he had that on for a week. So I didn't really get a good before because it had already been a week of that incisional vacuum and X39. So we don't really have a before.
So where did you put those patches in
Right
regards to
next-
where his
Yeah.
that vacuum was?
Yeah.
You put it next to it?
Yeah, I put it right next to it, and I would alternate sides because it went
Okay.
right down the middle and across the front of him. So I would put it one side one day and I put it one side the other day. It really depended on where he felt like he had the most pain or uncomfort. That's where I would put it. So this one, I've never used the burger protocol. This is where you stack them on each other at that one point of pain. So this is one I want to tag that real quick. For that deep stubborn, deep stubborn pain that you just can't get rid of.
Yeah, they're just very.
Another flower protocol. So there are variations of the flower protocol, depending on the patches that you have on hand. So this is for blocking or moving stagnant energy. You know, if the energy is not flowing and moving through the body, these patches can't do what they need to do. So these are recommendations for placements of patches to move this through your body to try to promote the body to do what it needs to do. So there's back to the beginning. So that's all in the patching biz group for you guys. And then the other one, if you guys have questions, this is where I go, is what I do. Dr. Karen Can has so much out there for free. I'm amazed. She's fantastic. She has medicine from both Eastern and Western. So she has different protocols for many, many different things. And she is very compliant with the symptom versus disease, because we don't treat disease. We don't cure disease. We treat symptoms. And so she really helps with the different types of symptoms. So you can always come to this link that's in there and reference this to look specifically what you're looking for. So if you're sitting around, you got some time, turn the Netflix off, turn on Dr. Karen Can, because she's a wealth of knowledge.
Can those be separated? Like if you have a person who has a specific problem and
Yes.
she's got it addressed in say number 5 there, can you just send them number 5?
Yeah, sure. That's thyroid support. So you can come in here and click in here. I'm gonna pause her. And then you're gonna come to the share clip here. And you
Okay.
can see it's Dr. Karen Can. She's got over 9,000 subscribers. You can hit the share button and send it to who you want, however you want to send it to them.
Okay.
Or on this link here, you can just copy it and then put it in your text and text it to them.
Okay.
So
Does she have a specific autoimmune?
she has thyroid support. There are a barrage of there are a barrage of autoimmune
I think it's in one of her videos I watched. She does talk about the autoimmune, but I
Okay.
think it was more of, it might have been a protocol, but it's like a big umbrella protocol that it's gonna hit
Okay.
the autoimmune. I have it saved
Okay.
in my Lifewave videos from
Oh,
YouTube.
videos.
Only like for myself, my thyroid, my hormones, they all come back normal, but I do have an autoimmune condition that kicks in. So that's why I was wondering.
Do you know specifically?
It's called undifferentiated connective tissue disorder.
Mm.
Oh, I hear connective tissue and I automatically think carnosine. I think
So-
carnosine and X39.
I was gonna say, I think her X39
I'm sorry,
does a lot.
X49. Because 49 is about connective tissue.
I mean, that's what, I mean, when they diagnosed it years ago, it was undifferentiated connective tissue. They couldn't specifically say, yes, it was this, or this. It just kind of, the ANA levels that they did from my blood work were so far off the charts that they couldn't tell me. It wasn't, like Hashimoto's. They couldn't pinpoint it, but it was, my ANA levels were so far off the charts. They were like, this is ridiculous. And once I went to a rheumatologist, they said, it'll never come back down. Once your levels are that high, there's never bringing it back down. You're always going to have an autoimmune. So my body was attacking itself, but they couldn't tell me why.
I would say X39 to start, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Get some stem cells in there. let them go where they need to go, and start that for a few weeks. And really, there's a health tracker. We can make sure that Meg gets that to you, and really, really pay attention to that. It breaks down your symptoms into 20, I think it's 20 different categories. There's maybe 10 at the top and 10 at the bottom. And really check in with yourself each day that you're doing that, because oftentimes we forget how we felt before once we're getting better.
And honestly, I turned 60 and it's like all hell broke loose. It's awful. I've gained weight. I've gained, like, I can't even look at food. I gain weight. It's crazy how, like, I turned 60 and my body's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's crazy.
So
And
with
Nick,
that,
I'm sharing you the video about
The
the
autoimmune.
autoimmune. Yep, she talks about lupus.
Okay.
So which
So-
is autoimmune.
yep, which is autoimmune. With that, I would say my gut would tell me X39 and SP6, because SP6 is going to help to balance hormones. And it's also coupled with a diet and exercise program that it does help to lose weight.
I know
So-
gut health is huge. I do know that.
I heard on a video, I think X39 actually does gut health.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I think
X49 also reduces your appetite.
Mm-hmm.
But actually was
Right.
talking more about, you know, how we have this gut that
Yeah.
everybody's talking about, the leaky gut.
Yep.
I think it was X39 is what they were.
Say,
that-
yep.
39 more for like people that really work out. Was X49 more for, like, you know, people that are constantly working out?
I mean, it's for recovery, right? It's for recovery. It's for performance. It's for, I would tend to, if people are coming to me and they have no pain, they don't have any major symptoms, I would gear them toward X49. Like my brother, I was like, X49, you're going to love it. And he does. In fact, he forgets to eat, right?
He does.
He goes all day long at work. Work. And then of course he goes out for happy hour, and he gets out and he's, you know, a drink in, and he's like, oh, I didn't eat today. And so quick, grab something to eat. So I think that it depends on the person.
Right.
Andrea, do you want to explain your experience with X49? I don't want to put you on the spot, but because you just started using it, right? Oh, I can't hear you. Oh,
How's this? Can you hear me now?
there you go.
So I put it on the first time the other day, and you kind of put a patch on, you forget it's on in some ways because I don't feel it on my body. And I just, no cravings. I didn't really go in knowing a lot about it, but enough to put it on. And I think once you experience after you put a patch on, there's so many more words that can come from you. I just wasn't hungry. I mean, I was, and I didn't feel like, kind of like when you get that blood sugar level where you're so hungry you need food. Sometimes that happens to me and I'm not diagnosed as anything. It was the nicest even keel through the day. I sat down, I got a pizza, I had one slice. That's all I wanted. That was it. And I just felt great. I mean, I did exercise that morning. I did a 15-minute ab workout, and I put the patch on, went downstairs about 15, 20 minutes later. And I've only done it once because I haven't worked out since. And I went through the whole routine without a problem, hopped on the bike for 15 minutes, and I just felt fine. I felt like 20 years younger, like I'm almost 50 now, and things are different. Like I didn't catch your name, but when you were saying 60 changed, I'm like, oh shit, when I hit 48, it changed. So I, but it's different. Now I don't feel like that anymore. With the X49, I did my exercise. I didn't feel, I think you talked about recovery. I didn't feel as though I had a recovery. I just went about my day. It felt great. And I didn't have any cravings. I ate when I wanted to eat. I didn't overeat, and it's wonderful. I'm like, yeah.
So
Hey,
yeah,
real quick, I found the video. It says when to use X39 versus X49.
yep.
Where do you want me to share it? Get patch X39 or patch an all day biz?
Patching all day biz.
Okay. There you go.
So
I have been using both the X39 and the X49 for like 2 months now. And I mean, I probably have lost, 3 or 4 pounds, not because I was trying to lose any, but it's like you said, you don't feel like eating extra. You just kind of go with the flow. And
Yeah,
it
it's-
surprised me when I got on the thing. I said, ooh, I've lost a few pounds here. And I
Yay.
didn't attempt to do that at all, but
how
I have-
how's dad? What's he down? Do you know?
no, I don't really know. He was down some. Yeah. And again, we weren't dieting with it. We just happened to be using the 49. But no, yeah, he's down some. Yeah.
'Cause
We
he
got him
looked
back
good
to the
then.
gym now, so I'm working on that. So
That's good.
I've noticed the same thing where I can go all day without eating, but I gotta tell myself, hey, you gotta eat.
So Megan, are you doing the X49?
No, I'm just doing the X39.
Okay.
we're
But my
on your
next order is gonna be the 49. I gotta try it.
Yeah, it's a game changer. I had no idea. I didn't try it. And I've been on the patch for 2 months now. I said, I'm gonna try the 49s. I didn't think I needed it. It's just,
I
I
might
mean,
need the
this is-
49 versus the 39.
yeah, I mean, everybody's different. I mean, a little bit different, but I think all around the patches do the same thing. I think some people have a little bit different response depending on what your ailments are or whatever you want
Right.
to say, because we're old people now. So, but we're not anymore with the patches. So it's
That's
so much.
it.
And I've tried a lot of things, and this has been and I think that one of the nicest things about the patches is it's easy. Like I used to sit down at the end of the night, ice myself, put an oil on, put this other stuff on, that other stuff on, and I don't have to do all the things I do now because I'm 20 years younger. The patches, and it's so I'm relaxed. I'm enjoying my life. I'm not stressing out. I'm not worrying. I'm in the moment, and it's wonderful. It's nice to just sit out down at the end of the day and not grab an ice pack or stretch out on the floor. I do still stretch, but that's because it feels good, not because I feel like it's the only thing I can do to help myself.
Right.
I will definitely say that the overall mental clarity that I've had, I've been like over 3 months now on 39, close on 49, pretty much right out of the gate. I did X39 and SP6 because, Nikki, I don't know if you know, but when I started, I stopped my medication. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism and chronic fatigue. And raising 2 little ones, I lived on Adderall, and it was a low dose. I'm not proud of it. I didn't like that I did it, but it was the crutch. That was the only thing I had to literally get out of bed in the morning. I'd set my 5 o'clock alarm, drag myself to the bathroom, take my Adderall, and I go right back to bed. And as soon as the kids would roll over, they'd start making noise. And I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel like I was going to bite their heads off because I was like, all right, here we go. Another day. And since I have been patching, my life is so different. I'm in the moment. I feel fantastic. I feel like I'm living again. I really do. I felt like I was in survival mode for so long, for so many years, because it was just, trying to get over that chronic fatigue is just it's a never ending battle. And now I'm so less reactive to things that I was trying to do something, I don't know. And I said something to Everett and he goes, Mom, you're being very reactive today. And I went, oh, that's my 5-year-old, by the way. And I was like, oh, honey, you are so right. I am being reactive today. Let's talk about this. Like, what can we do differently? And so it turned into just a little lesson on kind of like self-reflection. And we were in the moment, and I left whatever it was that I was supposed to do that before it probably would have annoyed me that I didn't get done. And I was just like, all right, come on, let's go do whatever we were supposed to do, because my priorities have even changed with X39. I just don't feel life stresses and life pressures like I used to. So I was so glad. Andrea reached out and she's like, what are you doing for your knees? I'm in. Megan's like, yes, let's do this. So, and of course, right after I got my patches, I immediately patched Mom. I'm like, here you go, turn around, let's do this. So I gotta tell you, Nikki, it's changed my life.
I'm sure it has.
Mhm.
I've done, let me tell you, I've done protocol after protocol after protocol. And I'm either all in or all out. And when I'm all in, I feel great. But as soon as you go back to normal life living and normal eating living, it's out the door again. And it's
That's
hard.
what's nice about the patch.
I mean, it's so hard, like we just sent in hair samples and Megan's like, shit, mine didn't come back that bad. Aunt Nikki, you can't. And literally when I did blood work, I literally couldn't have anything. I could only eat like 10. It was awful for 6 months. I ate that. Yeah, I lost 25 pounds. Can't have dairy, can't have this. I mean, it was a tough protocol. So, and I know when I'm eating crap that I'm not supposed to, my body is in constant inflammation. It is battling itself on a day-to-day basis. And I said, I'm sick of it. You can't even enjoy life because you have to eat a certain way. And it's so hard. It is so hard.
You know what?
You better get going on those X39s. You need them.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
haven't
You know what'll be
started. You haven't.
interesting is after using the patches for a while, like maybe I'll do the 6 months and my hair sample in to see if we still have those same food
yeah.
sensitivities, because
It's
with
really
the stem cells, they are regenerating digestion cells.
It's really funny because when
You know
I
what I
did
mean?
work about 2 years ago, coconut came up. I mean, just weird stuff came up. And I haven't had coconut in 2 years. And it still is in my system saying coconut. I mean, it's just weird. Like, a lot of times people say, oh, it's just because you're eating those products. I haven't eaten any of those products and it's still showing in my system that it triggers it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. My girlfriend wants patches. I want patches. And she says, you can't afford to order that big kit. But I say, if you don't like them, I'm going to use that kit. I will use these patches. I don't care. So if I have a couple of months worth, to me, it's worth it. And if you get some benefit out of it, by all means.
Well,
But
Katie and Deb, you've been at it for what, 3 months?
3 months.
Andrea, you've been
Just over
too?
3.
Well, but it was 2 months, I think, maybe a little more.
All right. And it'll be 2 weeks on Wednesday. So
It just keeps getting better.
yeah, so I'm looking
does.
for
Better.
just within 2 weeks, even like I said, even the first day you notice a difference, but definitely after 2 weeks. So I'm excited to hit 3 months.
I think as you go on, you get more knowledgeable of each patch and what they can do for you, and you start to see the difference and you feel the difference. And it's just like you said, 20 years younger, and like who doesn't want that? It's like, and it's for the past year I went through, and Katie, you probably did too, with the knee issues, a whole year of no solution, like for orthopedics, no one helping me. 4,000 milligrams of Tylenol and Advil a day was their solution.
they don't
And I'm like,
problem.
no.
They put a Band-Aid on. They don't try to get
Yeah.
all the need.
So, I it's interesting. I wish we had some sort of inner body scanner so we could see everything, how it was changing, but you don't need to, because you just feel good. I mean, you're going to feel younger. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. I mean, my eyelids are starting. I'm kind of
Great.
sweaty
No
and
more
gross right now.
facials for you.
Oh.
I've lost all my eyebrows, but when they do all sorts of tests, blood tests and stuff, they're like, no, you're fine. But then why the hell do I have no eyebrows? Literally, I've lost pretty much all my eyebrows.
Well, let me tell you the nice thing about this, and it's not for everybody, but it might happen for you, is that there is a follicle regeneration, follicle stimulation that happens when you start using X39. And I can attest to that because it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
And I have all these little tiny baby hairs that had hair that I didn't even know I lost because of the kids, the thyroid, the everything. I mean, my widow's peak's very pronounced again. So my widow's peak and my brow, I can't believe it. My eyebrows, I have to start plucking them again because they're coming back. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta.
And I'll say, that I do every 8 weeks to get my hair done. And usually by 8 weeks, I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
And there was only like a little bit of gray whitened through hair. And Jessica did my hair and I'm like, what do you think? She goes, oh no, it's good. There's not as much going on anymore. It's like getting better. And I was, usually I'm like, I can't wait till Friday at 4:00 to get my hair done or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I was okay. I mean, I was fine with it this time. A little bit of gray compared. I mean, I was like, maybe a few strings here or there, but it blended nicely. It was getting
Nice.
bad. So
Mine's
yeah,
all
no,
gray.
totally. When did you say yours is all gray?
Oh yeah, all my new hair that came in's all gray. I have so much gray hair now. It's crazy.
Mine has changed. It's
I
I-
just
you know, I
happy
guess
it came
everybody's
back.
a
I
little
don't know.
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna stop the
Definitely.
live stream. So we're gonna say goodbye to everybody on Facebook. Leave a comment if you want, and we can get back to you on your questions. So I'm gonna stop that. And then I'm gonna cancel the recording. Let me close that.
Hey, you're so tech savvy.
Look at that, right? Quit. We're going to stop